And welcome to Lindbergh Center, home of Hopkins High School, as TSP Television and Community Hoops continue its coverage of the Breakdown Sports USA Tip-Off Classic presented by East Bay. We have Benilde-St. Margaret's last year's 3A champion going against Bloomington Kennedy, a perennial South Suburban contender. This will be a great contest. I'm Mike Peden, joined by Broderick Bell. Nice to see you again after all these years.
Well, thank you, Mike.
Big matchup. We'll get things started right away with the starting lineups. Benilde-St. Margaret's, it's Sydney Pilarski, Josie Dillon, Olivia Antilla, and Khadija Shumpert. Shumpert, Antilla, and Dillon, last year's top scorers coming back this year. And when you're the state champion, a lot of momentum. Bloomington Kennedy, it's Tanoya Wade, number 50, Kanisha Bell, 14, Jade Martin, number 13, Icy Odor, number 12, and number 11, Sheridan Reiners, going back to front in the numerical order. Keep an eye on Martin. She will be asked to do quite a bit for the Eagles today.
This is going to be real interesting. When you said Wade, it looks like that's Percy Wade's daughter, isn't it, from
yes,
Bloomington Kennedy? Yes,
his daughter on the team. Got some minutes last year. We covered their game at this very place a year ago when they crushed Minnehaha Academy. And then Minnehaha Academy went on to win the Class 2A state title. So as we talked about off broadcast, it's worth mentioning here, championships are not won at this tip-off classic. They're won in March.
Absolutely. This is just dress rehearsal.
This will be a fun dress rehearsal. Benilde-St. Margaret's in the white jerseys, Kennedy in their royal blue. And Antilla picks it up. Benilde-St. Margaret's, before the 2010 title, won this event in 2006, or the state title that is. Kaminsky out. No basket from Pilarski.
Bloomington Kennedy really opened up well in that segment with their man-to-man defense. Early in the season, you want to see what your defense is all about. It's funny, when you have basketball going on, you work on defense and transition, and that looks exactly what Percy Wade's trying to do.
Fouls on Dillon, her first. That sends Kanisha Bell to the line.
Oh, those are some push-ups there, missing free throws. You know how I feel about that.
Free throws killed Orono in their match earlier today against Eastview, which you can catch on grandstadium.tv, and Bell bricks both. Finds Martin. Just short. Picked up by Kaminsky. I spoke with Bob Lyons. He believes Kaminsky, as Antilla misses the shot, he believes Kaminsky will be the likely valedictorian this year in Benilde-St. Margaret's graduating class. Reiners couldn't put it down. There's Tanoya Wade with the bank for three.
This is the second time that Bloomington Kennedy's gone down and he hasn't run a play. It's just he might be just following that early season script of just good solid defense and transition. It's a bit hard to get your team prepared for the season and to run set plays right away.
Benilde-St. Margaret's at the answer. Antilla with the bucket.
It was a nice cut by Antilla. Pass and cut. That's all you want to do. Just pass and cut.
And speaking of keys, here's Benilde-St. Margaret's ball control, and they want to avoid a rat race with Bloomington Kennedy. They know the Eagles can run fast. Icy Odor couldn't put it down. For Benilde-St. Margaret's or Kennedy, they want to play solid defense, get the transition going, and just like that, stop Benilde's offensive execution, and we know they can execute. Antilla with the steal. It's 3-2 with 16:05 remaining.
It was a nice way that Antilla got her hands in the passing lanes.
Pilarski couldn't put it in.
Here they go.
Bell brings it up.
I like that kid's name.
I wonder why.
I don't know. It has a ring to it.
Kennedy ball. Kennedy won the Class 4A state title back in 2005 with Jenna Smith. I remember those days well. Smith went to Illinois.
She was that left-handed player, wasn't she?
Yeah, she could shoot free throws well, and if it wasn't for Smith, Illinois wouldn't have been on the Big Ten radar for as many years as they were.
Oh, yeah.
Smith brought them attention.
Absolutely. You could see she played basketball a little bit. Boy, I like what Benilde-St. Margaret's doing. They're playing good defense. They're not going to get really out there. They're staying in front of their man. They're covering the passing lanes.
Foul. It's on Benilde.
She got caught using her hands.
It's on Antilla. Benilde-St. Margaret's the 2010 champion. I spoke with Bob Lyons about that. He said he wasn't expecting the Red Knights to pull it off. He thought 2010, 2011 would be the season, but they stayed healthy, got a little luck, and put together a big run last year. Took down Hill Murray in dramatic fashion in last year's tournament. As
you know, Mike, you just hit the nail on the head. It's the pairings in the tournament, and you have to stay healthy and you're playing good. That's what wins championship.
Martin can't bring it down, and it's picked up by Bell.
That's an outstanding move by Bell.
How did she put that in?
She must be a Bell, for crying out loud.
The foul is on Schumpert. Holy cow.
And if it goes on script, she'll miss her free throw. I've never known a Bell to make a free throw.
I'm still trying to figure out how that went in the basket.
Oh, she's adopted.
That deflected when it went right into the basket.
Looks like Percy Wade's trying a little trap on his out of bounds. See, and it's not really to stop anybody. It's just force the other team to make mistakes.
And that's exactly what happens as Pilarski turns it over. Bell will inbound it.
He came up with that little 2-2-1 trap. It was nice.
Kenesha Bell, 5'9", freshman guard.
Freshman.
Percy Wade's not afraid to use his younger athletes.
Oh, absolutely.
Martin for three. Too strong. And picked up by Schumpert. And Antilla played on the Benilde-St. Margaret's team. She made varsity as an 8th grader.
I'll tell you what, Mike, I'm impressed with what Benilde's doing. They must have a lot of confidence in their bigs, because normally you want your bigs to front the post, but they're in back of the post people. They're daring them to shoot the ball.
Schumpert, a 6-foot junior center. We've got some size with Antilla as well, 5'11". And Kennedy, just a quick, athletic team.
They're in a zone right now, and forcing Kennedy to run their zone offense, which they don't want to do, I bet you.
Odor nearly turns it over, but instead finds Bell, who pump fakes, finds Odor again. Almost, just a little too much. Bell scoops it up, traveling.
She didn't travel.
I'm glad I'm not an official. I don't have to make those
Bell
tough calls.
never travels, okay?
I don't have to make those tough calls.
Here comes that trap again.
Full court coming.
See, it's not there to go ahead and steal. It's just there to kind of bring the little, what do they call it, little green monkeys out, or the pink elephants. Make a mistake.
Fouls on Bell. It's 6-2 Kennedy. And I spoke with Bob Lyons, and he was actually looking forward to playing Kennedy just because it's still early in the season. Most teams have not played more than 3 games.
He'll be calling a timeout after this. He's getting kind of, they're not handling this pressure at all. It's not really pressure at all. It's really lukewarm pressure.
We talked about ball control, and that's exactly what Benilde-St. Margaret's wanted to avoid. But he likes this athletic Kennedy program, and he feels that playing Kennedy will help them become more athletic, a little more quick,
absolutely.
A little more agile as the season goes on.
Well, he's trying to slow Kennedy down now with that 2-3 zone. That's what it's specifically for, is to slow up their offense. And Kennedy's forcing Kennedy to do some half-court sets.
I just like, it's been, what, a couple years since we last called the game. It's almost like it never happened yesterday.
Well, absolutely. Absolutely.
Martin banks it in this time.
Did you notice when that thing came over to the left elbow and the big man swung to the left elbow, he had a little high-low going there. I see what he's trying to do, how he's going to attack there. 2-3 pressure. Here comes the timeout by Benilde-St. Margaret.
And that comes after Kennedy's defense forces another Benilde turnover. It's like you said, they're not necessarily going for the steals, but they're making Benilde hesitant.
That's correct. Here comes the pink elephants. He's only taking a short one. He figures he doesn't have to talk to him much.
The pink elephants. I have never heard that one before.
Oh, yeah. They are there.
And here's the thing, Kennedy off to a hot start. They've lost their first 2 games of the season. They played Chanhassen earlier this week, got surprised. Chanhassen shot 60% from the floor, and then they lost to Eden Prairie by 5 last night. Eden Prairie moved over to the current Lake Conference with their new head coach, NBA journeyman Chris Carr. So you know Eden Prairie's going to be on the radar.
Oh, yes.
Then again, when aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
How about that for football, though? Eden Prairie did not get to the Metrodome, and neither did Cretin in 5A.
I know. Well, it's good to have a change. Although Wyzetta was there, so there you have it. Things don't change that much.
Reiners for 3. Too strong. And an over-the-back call. I believe that will be on Martin.
Here comes that. Coach Wade's going to stay in that thing till he breaks it. The best thing to get him out of that thing is to break it and get a backdoor layup, and he'll call it off right now. But until they stop it,
Here comes the pressure.
Yeah.
New player in for Benilde.
They're really now starting to apply it now. They're starting to wrench in on it.
No, they haven't.
There's the open shot.
They did sub, and no good. Sarah Kopp now in for the Red Knights. And she picks up the ball.
She was a bit out of control on that shot. She needed to set her feet and shoot it.
And that's something you'll see, especially in the first week. Teams aren't crisp yet. Dillon from the corner. Can't get the bounce. And Kopp will go to the line.
That rebound by Bloomington Kennedy, number 13, did the Cardinals sin. Time she got the rebound, she brought the ball down by her waist, and guess what happened? Pickpocket. Can't do that. That is one of the pet peeves of us coaches, by the way. We mention it all the time in practice.
That sends Kopp to the line. And that's something you don't want to do, offense or defense, especially if you've got the size advantage. You bring the ball down to your waist, you defeat the purpose of setting yourself up in the post.
Now let's see if they're going to do some boxing out down below and see how Benilde-St. Margaret goes after that rebound. Of course, there's no need. She makes her free throws. That's also a good thing. Notice, see how they're slowing down? And it's interesting, Percy Wade is going to try and make them speed up with his defense, but their defense is set up to slow Bloomington Kennedy down. Force them to make a mistake offensively. Take a bad shot, whatever.
New player in for Kennedy. Ifeoma Odor. Martin too high.
See, that was a bad shot. It was air ball. Just it happened.
And Josie Dillon with the drive on the right side. It's 8-5. Kennedy over Benilde. If you've been over at this main court today, you're going to get a good look at the South Suburban Conference. We've already seen a couple teams come in, and Lakeville North and Hopkins play each other in the evening. That's going to be a big game, which you can catch on grandstadium.tv.
It's just a bad pass in there. Now Benilde-St. Margaret has the ball. I see that he has their kids getting back, and now he's going to force them to do some sort of mistake on their offense.
Kopp doing big things coming off the bench. Grace Coughlin in the game for the Red Knights, and Kopp gets the bank.
Look for Percy Wade to be calling a timeout pretty soon here if they don't get their offense squared away. There's no transition going on now.
1 point game. It's early though.
Absolutely.
Very early. Reiner's long three, too short. Rebound Schumpert. Here she comes. Traveling violation.
That's why Benilde-St. Margaret wants to slow up the tempo, because they're not a transition team. He wants to walk it up, set it up, and find the open man, shoot the ball. I'm sure that he said things to her on her way back down to her zone. Coaches do that, you know.
More substitutions for Kennedy. Jasmine Scott now in for the Eagles. Also in the game, Michaela Meredith, number 15. It's stripped by Schumpert, looking for Coughlin, can't find her.
As I said before, they're not a transition team. But they're lucky to get the ball back, but that was just an ill-advised pass.
Antilla to inbound. With both Coughlin and Wade on the floor, Breakdown Sports USA, as Antilla fires, misses the three, said that was going to be the key matchup. Both were freshmen, but they'll be asked to do a lot of ball handling. Coughlin coming off the bench, Wade starting.
Yeah, you know how I feel about freshmen, don't you? Best thing about a freshman, they turn sophomore.
Oh, yes.
I wish they never would have even invented freshmen. They need to do away with freshmen.
Well, we mentioned Antilla coming on this team as an 8th grader, and over in the Apple Valley boys team, Tyus Jones did some big things as an 8th grader last year.
Yes, but for the most part, freshmen are freshmen. You have your exceptions, I'll give you that.
And you really want exceptions. This is a different sport, but in the state girls tennis tournament, a 7th grader, Jessica Aney, finished runner-up, made it all the way to the 2A final, and gave a run to her teammates, Kelsey Frechette over at Rochester Century.
That was just an outstanding run, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. That was a fun game to watch. I was on assignment for that match, and that was a fun contest to follow. It was the only 3-set match, so everyone was watching my court at the end. It was an interesting feeling. But Kennedy feeling themselves out as they see a 6-point lead cut to 1.
Now they're changing their position with the post on the inside. They're getting an arm up there, or they're fronting that post. They're not going to make that post entry any kind of easy and they're out of their zone.
Kennedy's slowing things up, and with the joy with no shot clock, you can do that except when you get called for traveling, as Meredith did.
See, slowing down Bloomington Kennedy forces them to make those kinds of mistakes. So it's funny how it's going to be. It's going to go back and forth here.
New player in for Benilde-St. Margaret's. Airballs it. That's Emma Lisney. What I've really seen in the last couple of years, since the days of Taylor Hill and Buford and all the big superstars left, field's really opened up the last year or so.
Oh, absolutely.
We got a lot more teams that can compete for state titles and kind of get back in the spotlight now. Antilla airballs the 3.
Every year, girls basketball is just getting better. I remember when I was refereeing.
Schumpert with the N1.
Some 8 to 10 years ago, it used to be girls basketball. All you had to do was go over on the right side. You'd have most of the action. Now it's different.
And to go off that point, how many Division I recruits have we seen from Minnesota?
Well, I'll tell you what, I watched Marquette in Wisconsin the other day. They had a couple of Minnesota people on those teams.
Oh, yes, and always Marquette, Wisconsin, they meet every year for the in-state rivalry. Marquette has Angel Robinson. They also are getting Lakeville North's Epi Ojulu. Wisconsin has Alyssa Carroll, the Cretin-Durham Hall standout from several years ago, and Cassie Rochelle, last year's big-name player for Lakeville North. And Banham's going to Minnesota next year, also out of Lakeville North.
There you go.
And that's just 2 colleges. I mean,
absolutely.
How many
oh, absolutely.
players we see a lot. And
yes.
if it's mid-major, Big Ten, we see a lot going to Division I. South Dakota State is a huge Minnesota resource. Iowa has picked up a few players.
Yes. This place is a hotbed for girls basketball. It's really taken off here.
Well, the boys aren't left out either. We have the boys version of the Tip-Off Classic on December 11th, where you're going to see some of the top boys teams take action. And Hopkins, once again, the front runners, and so is Johnson. I know a lot of folks were disappointed that the 2 were in different classes because they couldn't play each other for the state title.
I heard that last night Johnson and Lakeville, North had a humdinger with Johnson coming away with a tip-in at the end of the game. It was really some kind of game there.
Dillon 1 of 2 after drawing the foul.
Oh, they're making the free throws, aren't they?
Made both, actually. It's 10-8. 8-0 run for the Red Knights.
He's going to have to figure out a way to move that zone around and move it a lot quicker. You're not going to just drive in and shoot over those tall lumpers there at Benilde-St. Margaret.
When you have the defending champion, they're always a team to keep an eye on. Coughlin can't get the layup. And here comes Scott. Did not have great position on that layup. 7:53 remaining. 10-8 the score.
Yeah, she turned the ball over.
Traveling call on Kopp, the 5'9" senior forward. When you look at Benilde-St. Margaret's team, compared to some of the other teams that have taken action on this floor, they have only 11 players, a smaller roster than most other teams. Eastview came in earlier. They had a giant roster. 13 players saw action by the end of that game. Scott for 2, no good. And Coughlin with the rebound. And Kennedy will see one of their former teammates take the floor later with Eden Prairie, Battles Hill Murray. Aubrey Davis transferred over to the Eagles. Jasmine Scott, no foul called, clean block by Dillon.
I always get a kick out of the early morning, the early season stuff. You have to put up with all the mistakes. I'll tell you what, Coach Wade can't be happy with that little drive in there like that.
It's not only fun just to see how these teams grow as Wade gets the 3, the coach's daughter with her second tray.
Nice out of bounds play.
But you see a lot of matchups that you don't get to see inside the conference. And so like Lakeville North and Hopkins, that's always a big match. And Benilde-St. Margaret catches Kennedy falling asleep.
Well, remember I told you that a couple of those passes and a layup, that brings that little pressure off, because then he's figured, well, okay, now they found a way to break it. But he needs to find a way to break their zone, get him out of that zone.
Steal by Coughlin. Here she comes, going to the line.
She helped her out with the foul. My biggest pet peeve as a coach, if you're in position, let them drive, stay on the ground, and put your hands up in the air. It's the toughest thing to get these kids to do that.
Coughlin, a 5'8" freshman. They list her as a post, and she gets on the board.
Why they make their free throws? I think I'll adopt Benilde-St. Margaret's team because they shoot free throws.
They might have a spot open for coaching. Red Knights up by 3. Benilde-St. Margaret's went 30-2 last season en route to their 3A title. And Kennedy bowed out early in section play last year.
some of the girls on both teams, so it's kind of fun to watch them. You don't get to see them very often. Girls that my daughter played with on the AU teams.
Are they playing Eden Prairie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Traveling call on Martin. Now Benilde-St. Margaret's putting a little pressure.
That's that zone. It's the zone. It throws you off. It slows you down and makes you do something. It's making Bloomington Kennedy do something they don't want to do, or they're not accustomed to doing. That's play a lot of offense. You got to move the ball around, be patient.
And Wade, or that was Bell with the steal, but she loses it right back to Pilarski.
I got to talk to that Bell kid.
You could probably get in touch with Percy Wade or Bell after this game.
There's a throwaway.
Dillon throws to absolutely no one. Miscommunication.
Kennedy was up 8-2 at one time.
Right. They really stepped it up.
And it was the team that beat us last year in state finals. We were ahead 4 minutes.
Either coach can be happy with what they're doing, what their kids are doing right now.
Really good.
We mentioned it's early in the season. Teams aren't as crisp. The plays aren't as sharp as they will be come February and March. Reiners, top of the key. Again, can't hit it.
It appears to me that one of the things that Bloomington Kennedy could do to the zone is maybe drive that zone and force it to move, and then once it, just pass it out for the open man instead of trying to do the skip pass.
Pilarski in the double team. In trouble. And Kaminsky tried to help, but Wade with the steal.
She doesn't get in front of the big. She runs along the side of the
Kennedy wants that 3 ball. Now they're backing off against that Benilde zone. Wade for 3. Not this time.
They haven't made too many.
And it stays with Kennedy as it deflected off a red knight. 4:36 to go. I don't think you would have guessed it'd be 14-11 at this point.
Oh no. This is
5 points.
early season. It's not unusual.
A lot of low-scoring games today.
Oh, absolutely.
Bell missed the 3. But it's not how many points you score, it's as long as you score more than your opponent. I often refer to Central's upset victory over South in the 08 4A state final a couple years ago. It was 49-44. After the two teams met in high-scoring games in the 2 previous meetings. Shumpert draws the foul. Free throw's coming.
Isn't there a big forward or post player? I don't know.
2 fouls on Martin.
she's one. The thing is, they've got, my daughter was like the number 5 girl, and then the number 6 girl is gone today. And so that means they pulled up a bunch of JV girls last night. They played Kennedy, and it was a tough game.
Over the back call on Antilla. And Benilde-St. Margaret still with a couple fouls to give.
Getting thrown out there with the varsity, and they've got some good girls coming.
But Bloomington Kennedy now in the penalty.
I enjoy watching the JV girls, and I went to their game last week just because there's a little bit of love.
You're not coming out of that zone, I'll tell you that.
It's worked so far. And now Bell draws a foul. It's against Kaminsky. Going to say that zone's been working well. Kennedy not doing well from the perimeter yet. No reason to get out of that zone.
No, not at all.
It was that zone that helped Virginia Tech almost beat the women Gophers a couple nights ago.
Yes, but we shot well.
Especially an old St. Paul Central graduate who rings the bell to our faces.
Oh, yeah. She can shoot a little bit.
But
Buford comes in the gym shooting. I'll tell you what, Benilde-St. Margaret is huge. Those are some good-sized people out there. They can really move it around, too. They're big.
Bell is 3 for 3 from the line. Antilla, fade away, no good.
A little bit out of control on that shot.
Wade with the rebound.
First or second, depending. Benilde is first in one pool, and we're first in the other one.
And Wade, spinorama, gets the layup.
Nice drop step by Wade.
Oh, no, I don't think. They just play one game. Oh, it's state, yeah. Well, no. They're in a different section because we met them at state last year.
Antilla can't respond. Picked up by Martin.
Yeah, that's what we did last year.
We're tied up here at 15 all with 3 minutes and 4 seconds left. No basket by Odor. And Wade not happy with the call.
Nice rebound, offensive rebound by Wade.
Wade probably flustered that she couldn't put down the basket, but she's going to the line.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Some of these smaller schools have some amazing talent. So this is really kind of a neat tournament.
It's just kind of who decides to go to school where. You know.
Wade got some time last year with Bloomington Kennedy as an 8th grader.
It's not like any of our good players were recruited. They just
6'1" freshman guard. 6'1", and she's only a freshman.
That's a good-sized girl.
She's got a little more growing to do, too.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, we played them all the time. They
Look
weren't-
out, Jenna
they weren't
Smith.
really
Kennedy calls timeout with 2:59 remaining. It's 16-15.
She sprained her ankle, and so she sat on the bench.
good. I think that's what they beat us for a couple of years ago.
Sometimes you wonder. He looks like he's taken a long time, a short time out. He's got him standing, and he's just want to go ahead and do some fine tweaking, some little instruction with his defense.
She was good at everything.
Well, you're talking about gym rats. Percy Wade maybe doesn't shoot around like he used to,
By her senior year,
but you'll find him at a lot of basketball events, whether it's high school or college. You'll see him at a lot of high school events. He was at the Pat Patterson tournament last week to watch a few conference opponents.
Well, Percy's a basketball guy. I can't tell you how many times we've sat down and had some very interesting conversations, being one coach to another. He's a very interesting person. He's extremely knowledgeable about the game of basketball.
You'll find him at many Gophers games, too. Once in a while, the Gopher women's games become a huge coaching summit.
Absolutely.
I've seen Wade there, I've seen Central's Willie Taylor, I've seen Faith Johnson Patterson all show up at one point or another.
Oh, absolutely.
Wade gets in there. They have the score at 17-15.
Let's see if they found something for the zone yet.
And Wade can't hit the three. Dillon with the
A
rebound.
lot of freshman shots.
Coughlin stops, pops. No. Martin with the board. Reiners will take it herself and one.
Well, that was a nice drive when she got the 2+1. Let's hope she can make the free throws. I like the way she lowered her head, took it right to the basket, did not settle for the jump shot.
She had Icy Odor out there too, and I was wondering if she would find her or take it herself, and it pays off. 3-point play successful.
Is she a senior?
Score has been corrected. It is 19-15.
Her name?
Lisney back in for Benilde. Coughlin, bounce pass, can't find Kaminsky. It will stay with Benilde with 2 minutes left in the first half.
Taylor, you on our basketball team, same thing. She's
Oh, yeah.
got a D1 scholarship to the U.
For the Warriors, forward 14, Bobby Jones Schumann. For the Orioles, at forward 22, Mila Wilson.
Kaminsky traveled.
For the Warriors, 29. In that post, for the Orioles, number 24, Mila Wilson. And for the Warriors, at forward
Benilde-St. Margaret still in that 2-3. They're starting to communicate a little bit more in there too, and that makes it better.
Bell with the three-pointer.
Bell hits a couple more of those, and that 2-3 will be gone.
Now the Eagles putting a little pressure on the Knights. And Antilla draws the foul against Wade.
That's a nice drive by Antilla, how she lowered her shoulder and just said, let's go get it.
Antilla with this team since she was in 8th grade. She knows a thing or two about Bob Lyons and his system.
Oh, absolutely.
Benilde-St. Margaret's, of course, having some alumni of their own. One of them in Iowa, Kasheen Alexander. She's done big things for the Hawkeyes. And over the last couple of years has become the face of the team. And Iowa, I have to give them credit. Last year they got to the NCAA tournament, perhaps having one of the most banged up rosters I've ever seen. A lot of injury problems, and they found a way to overcome it.
Yes. He's trying to run the high-low.
Another traveling call, this time it's on Martin.
That's kind of, see, that's the kind of stuff that pulls the hair out the coaches. Not being patient and let things develop.
And the way it's going, I don't see a reason for Benilde to leave that zone because Kennedy isn't running on all cylinders yet. High pass fielded by Antilla, bounce pass to Kaminsky, and she gets the right-handed layup. Kaminsky's first field goal. Odor out to Bell. Travel. 3-second call, actually. Still a turnover.
Someone hanging out in the lane, huh?
She's going to go to Madison.
42.9 seconds. Here's a chance for Benilde to cut that lead, get them some locker room momentum. Percy Wade calling out his offense or his defense. Antilla kicks out to Dillon from the corner. In and out, but Coughlin is there and gets the cleanup. 4 points for the freshman.
Looks like to me if you keep him shooting outside, you 8
seconds. Odor, too strong. 3 seconds, enough time for Benilde to get another shot off. And a great feed. And they'll end the first half, tying it up. Grace Coughlin was there at the right time, and we end the first half the way we started, 22-all.
Problem is, you know what? Now they'll be working on that shot in practice all the time. Instead of doing the regular shots. Yeah, that was an interesting first half. I think that when it's all said and done, I think that Benilde-St. Margaret's, if Kennedy doesn't crack that zone, Benilde-St. Margaret's might be a little bit hard to handle.
We'll see which team is tougher to handle when we come back after this break.
Yeah, that's right.
Mike Beaton back here with Broderick Bell as we start the second half of Benilde-St. Margaret's against Bloomington Kennedy here at the Breakdown Sports USA Tip-Off Classic presented by East Bay. Both teams tied at 22, and really both teams just establishing dominance with their own game.
Well, on one side you have the Bloomington Kennedy people who want to play man-to-man and try to get in transition. The other side, you have a 2-3 zone, and they are trying to slow them down and force them to do something that they're not wanting to do. Right now, the zone is winning. I'm thinking it'll be interesting to see what both coaches are going to do at halftime on their adjustments.
We'll see what adjustments are made momentarily. Let's take a look at the in-game box score. Tanoia Wade leads with 9 points. Kenesha Bell has 8. And then Sheridan Reiners has 3. Not a lot of scoring as you might expect, just not a lot of offensive production. It's been a defensive battle so far.
And it's early in the season. That's what you got going on. I mean, it is what it is. And so as this game, watch, you'll see as this game starts to progress, we're going to see more scoring. We're going to see a little more going on. Now it's coaching time. Let's see what they did at halftime. See what they discussed at halftime. Let's see if the kids can go ahead and put it into practice.
So the second half is about to get going. We'd like to remind you, visit grandstadium.tv to get a DVD copy of this and all 13 games of the Girls Breakdown Sports USA Tip-Off Classic. Olivia Antilla to inbound the ball as we start the second half.
My son, I was a half an hour late just going across town. And I was calling him and going, I'm just stuck in traffic and I'm in the same city. And it should only take me 5 or 10 minutes to get him. I was a half an hour late.
Benilde-St. Margaret's wearing the white jerseys, Bloomington Kennedy wearing the royal blue.
You know, if I were Percy Wade, I think I would pressure the point guard a little bit more. Force that point guard to make some mistakes. Get the person guarding the point guard for Benilde-St. Margaret. Get up there a little bit closer and make it a little bit uncomfortable for her.
Left Dillon open and she drains the 3.
Yeah.
And here's a steal. It's Olivia Antilla with the steal.
My daughter played with number 13 and
but they can't handle it and they turn it over.
35. Jade, yeah. Steve, how are you?
See if Kennedy has an answer for this zone. Looks like he starts out in a 1-2-2 and drops into a 3-2.
Not quite tall enough.
See how he's doing that? And it drops that person all the way down in the middle.
Odor got bumped and foul issued.
You know, the last time I seen something like that was St. Thomas Academy boys playing North. St. Thomas had the point of the 1-2-2. And as soon as it went to the side, he dropped all the way down. That was the year that a kid named Khalid Alameen shot a Hail Mary to win the game.
Foul was on Kaminsky. And you look at what happened to Minneapolis North over the years, especially the last couple of years, and you just are scratching your head. Shumpert is blocked.
Everybody's moving to the suburbs, and you have the charter schools and you have the parochial schools around. It's no wonder why you're having declined enrollment at Minneapolis North.
Antilla feeling it. Missed it from the corner, though.
Well, I'll tell you what, Bloomington Kennedy needs to work on their blockout. That'll be addressed at practice on Monday, huh?
So what do you think?
Wade
I think we could.
picks up the board after Attila missed a putback attempt. And she draws a foul. It's a shooting foul.
5 overall.
And not only do you have enrollment issues with North, but even in the athletic side. Well, Faith Johnson-Patterson left for De La Salle. Looked for something different. I don't think she expected, or anyone expected, what would happen to North over the last year or so to happen.
Well, when you have budget cuts and all those things that go on, things happen.
And then you had a few of the players head elsewhere, and a few of them went to Prairie Seeds Academy, where Minneapolis North alum Tamara Moore is coaching. And so North didn't have a whole lot left.
That happens.
And it wasn't that long ago. They had that three-peat. They were the big powerhouse. It's amazing what can change with time. Reiners with the steal after the block. And Jade Martin banks it in.
Kennedy wants to run that ball. He wants to steal and transition. I know he doesn't want to set up a whole lot of offense.
And get this, we're tied again at 25.
Oh, absolutely. I think they need to front the post. That post, that barrel of the, what we say the barrel of the chest is too open. Once he gets down there, it's lights out.
The battle between man-to-man and zone. Dillon open, yes.
See how that post is? They didn't come up under in the post defensive position. It was wide open.
9 points for Dillon.
It's interesting now. They're going to a straight 3-2.
They find Martin inside, and Martin gets the layup.
There's a nice pass inside and a great finish by Martin.
And the third tie in the last few minutes.
See, they need to get up on, just pressure that ball. It's going to force Benilde-St. Margaret to make a mistake. Now here they come, they're running.
Reiners with the steal after Bell poked it away.
This is what Kennedy wants to do, transition, transition, transition.
And Wade draws the foul, more free throws coming. Fouls on Kaminsky.
I bet you their practice is a lot of running.
I don't think I'd last.
I think it's great for the kids to get out and just run. I think it's great basketball. I was at a clinic at Stout, about 4 or 5 weeks ago, and that's one of the things the Stout coach says. Hey, it's the beginning of the season. We're not setting up a whole lot of plays. We're going to play a whole lot of defense, and we're going to transition the ball. And that's exactly what I think that Bloomington Kennedy is trying to accomplish. However, I wished that they would try to put a little more pressure, or I think they should try to put a little more pressure on the point of the ball. Looks like they're trying to run a little zone themselves.
Kennedy up by 2.
Listen to that low post just screaming, I'm open.
Top can't put it down. And Bell with the board. Will take it herself. Can't get the runner.
Bell with the finger roll. You gotta love it.
Antilla can't get the bounce. And it will stay with Benilde-St. Margaret's.
Looks like he's going to zone out of bounds defense.
Jump ball, possession arrow.
We got people on the ground, you got to love it, huh?
Yes, possession arrow Kennedy. As they look to get some space. Neither team is led by more than 6.
I've been sitting up here for a game and a half. I think I need to make a little restroom run. Bloomington, Jefferson. Sauk Center? Sauk City? No, actually, no. It was pretty close. They were way ahead, Bloomington, Kennedy, and Jefferson.
See how she drove and penetrated and collapsed the zone? That's exactly one of the elements that you'll need to use to break down Benilde-St. Margaret's zone.
Odor couldn't put down the shot, though.
Move the zone around. Looks like Benilde-St. Margaret's is having to see that post is open. When you can see the Benilde-St. Margaret's and the number, the BSM and the number in the post, that's way too open. It should be fronted, or somebody getting in front of it. Doesn't necessarily mean that middle person, but somebody needs to get in front of it. Oh, that was a nice, you see that pick, that down pick there? Found her open. Great move.
That was Olivia Antilla with the basket. And they tie it up again. It's 29 all.
Carrie and
Beth.
Odor, can she break through the zone? No, and Bell couldn't put it in. Mistimed it.
A lot of what, yelling?
A lot of yelling from the stand. At the refs.
Yeah, that's good.
Shumpert
Doesn't like that, or
finds Antilla. That wasn't scripted, but it pays off anyway.
Yeah, but again, that post is open and she's able to make a play. It doesn't bode well for Bloomington Kennedy to leave that post open like that.
Wade drains the 3.
That'll work.
Well, he had longer hair before today.
15 points for the daughter of Bloomington Kennedy head coach Percy Wade. And Coughlin can't answer. But Shumpert with the rebound. More free throws coming.
This is it. We're going to be moving down.
Oh, we are? We're relocating?
Shumpert, 6-foot junior center. Five points for Khadija. 12 minutes remaining in the second half.
Oh, they did?
Not hay, but feed.
Oh.
Martin kicks out to Bell.
Very good. He said he had a great corn crop.
Scott to Wade.
It was so wet.
Corn crop was going to be so good that our hay was crap because it rained a lot.
Yeah, he said it was.
And it grew so fast that there's not a lot of nutrition.
Kennedy slowing things down against that Benilde zone.
Zones would do that for you.
Force a turnover.
That old pink elephant showed up on that again, huh?
You know where I'm talking there? Right off of Demontreville and 36. Green Acres.
Benilde-St. Margaret's with a 1-point lead.
All the fields on the right as you're going up 36 to Stillwater.
Plenty of time.
And you know what he did? He turned all of his fields into
Dylan.
skiing fields.
No. Rebound. Falls to Martin.
Big tournament there for adults. And then all
It's stolen. And Shumpert with the basket.
Bad mistake on that one. I'm sure that Coach Wade didn't want to see that.
Shumpert with 7. Martin gets the swish.
My field's sitting there doing nothing.
Great post move.
The tubing on the hills.
Martin with 8 points. Antilla looking for Shumpert again, but this time Scott deflects it. Last touch by Kennedy, Benilde-St. Margaret's ball. 10:32 remaining in the second half.
And he said there's 2 types of cross-country skiing. One is a Nordic ski, where they're like skating. The other one is where they're on a 2.
Shumpert draws a foul against Wade.
Yeah. 2 different kinds all the time. So
That's number 3 on Tanoia.
his idea this year is to pay off the equipment. And next
It's early.
year they make money.
She'll be fine.
10.5 to go. We had a game earlier today, Bram and Providence Academy, where Bram's top 2 players fouled out. And Bram still found a way to win with the last-second buzzer beater. You can catch that by going to grandstadium.tv. You can click on the link, and if you want a DVD copy of this game and all 13 games from the Breakdown Sports USA Tip-Off Classic, click the Purchase DVD link. Shumpert missed both, and that leaves the lead at 1. Scott to Odor. Jump ball. Benilde-St. Margaret's possession. Great job, not only to disrupt that shot, but not get their arms in there and get called for a foul.
Absolutely. Just keep on your feet and stay in the passing lanes. Looks like you're putting a little more pressure on the ball here, and that's what you need to do. Attack the point. Here we go.
Meredith with the steal, 1-on-1. No layup.
Nice job defensively. She did not, all she did was just put a hand up.
Kaminsky with the rebound, and Antilla draws the foul. And you saw that leadership, that experience coming in. Antilla anticipating defenseman was coming her way, so she just held up and waited for the foul to come.
There's nothing like experience, huh? Up!
I jinxed her.
There goes a non-made free throw.
They've been piling up for the Red Knights lately. They've had a chance to increase this lead. It's been stuck at 1. Now it's 2. But free throws definitely keeping both teams in this game.
Post is open.
Not for long. Antilla with the strip. Ifeoma Odor back in for the Eagles. That zone effective at collapsing in the post.
Oh, yeah.
And forcing tough shots. Here's Dillon. We're going for an open Antilla, who pump fakes. Kicks back out. Now Antilla will take the three, and she's short. And Bell draws the foul. Both teams with 2 to give. Jade Martin stepping back in for the Eagles, giving Ifeoma Odor a rest. And Tanoia Wade will sub in for Kenesha Bell.
He didn't give her much time out, did he?
In a game like this, you need your top players, and sometimes you're not able to get them the rest that you want.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that fatigue doesn't set in and she gets the 4th foul. That does happen from time to time.
The games I've covered already, I've seen 4 players foul out. St. Paul Central lost to Eastview in part because Genvante Hill and Marlia Guerra-Edwards, 2 of their starters, fouled out of the game.
Hey, Coach Taylor has a freshman starting, does he?
He's got a really young team. I think he has 1, if not 2 freshmen on that squad.
Okay.
It's older but younger, as he put it to me.
Okay.
But they had a big upset over De La Salle to open the season last Friday.
Well, as you know, at Humboldt High School, we're finally running out of Hickses. We've got 1 left on the varsity, 1 on the junior high.
The foul's on Wade, her 4th, with 8:34 left, and Odor's going to have to go back in. Tanoia's going to sit. Probably won't see her for a few minutes. Schumpert draws the foul against Odor.
Bailed him out. Keep your feet. Put your hands up. You never know.
Yeah, I know. I thought maybe I'd watch that Lakeville North game, but I'm not sure I will.
Schumpert with 7 points.
And there's a teammate on that team, so we're gonna watch it for a little bit. Cole
Who's up there?
Dana's soccer teammate.
Low scoring games has been the theme of the day. A lot of teams, again, just a little nervous, still working out the kinks.
Oh, her dad.
Right.
Her dad. Is he that old already?
And just a great showcase of defense if you're a fan of that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's good soccer.
I have yet to see a team break 60 over on this side with all the main court games. And Martin gets called for the travel. Took too many steps trying to draw the foul.
Well, if they're not scoring 60 points, that means there's a whole lot of defense going on, and that's great.
Timeout with 8:05 left. 37-34, Benilde-St. Margaret's up by 3, but neither team going up by more than 6.
I don't know, if I'm Percy Wade, I think I would try to apply a little more pressure. That being said, maybe he can't, and you know, he's going to try and do what he can do with his defense.
You guys aren't going to be sassy, are you?
If I'm Benilde-St. Margaret's, I'd stay in the defense they have. It seems to be working real well for them.
Matter of fact.
There's nothing wrong with a good zone.
Kennedy just finding no way to break the zone.
This is not cheap.
Now, perimeter shooters, obviously, that's one way to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
But how do they get inside? Because as soon as they find their post option, you'll see at least 2, if not 3, Benilde-St. Margaret's players converge.
That's right. So when it breaks, what you need to do is go to a solid triangle offense.
Brothers too, right?
Once it gets to the post then has to quickly pass outside. The guard has to relocate after they pass to the post position and get her feet set to shoot a good shot.
Okay.
It looks like he's coming up with that little half-court or three-quarter court, kind of a bothersome trap zone there. There it is, a mistake.
And Bell with the steal. Can't get the bounce. Another opportunity negated by Bloomington Kennedy.
22 for Benilde.
He's trying to up the tempo of this game. He's trying to force Benilde-St. Margaret's into making a mistake. Looks like it's a diamond trap.
That's what led to that quick run early. But Dillon with the swish from mid-range.
Something like that brings him out of the diamond trap. Open shots or layups.
Dillon, the first Benilde-St. Margaret's player to break double digits.
And twice.
Well, the other one was the Morgan, who never takes an inbounds pass. Yeah, right off the finger.
Bell for the answer. No good.
I don't know why they just didn't chuck it down court. Well, have somebody just take off.
Yeah.
Kennedy taking their time.
Terrible.
Martin.
Yeah.
No good. Picked up by Shumpert. And it's stolen right back by Bell. And she has space. Will go to the line. Shumpert with the foul.
Nice aggressive move by Bell.
That's just when she takes the last shot. You know there's going to be 3 people hanging on it. And somebody else taking it.
In my opinion, he didn't use definitely enough that over.
No, she was on a lot.
You get it in a post all day, you totally stop and foul out.
Bell now with 9 points. E.C. Odor is back in the game for the Eagles. Are you sure you're going to adopt this person? I mean, she's making her free throws.
Oh, yeah. There's a shot.
Off target.
Now here they go. They're running.
And once again, Bell with the rebound.
And Bell's coming right to the hoop.
No layup. Wade doesn't draw the foul. It will stay with Kennedy. That's an interesting call by Percy Wade to put back Tanoia with 6:38 to go. She only has 1 foul left. She picks up another one. She's disqualified. So how does Benilde-St. Margaret's attack that weakness?
Find out where she's at, and then have that person get the ball. Go right at her.
E.C. Odor with the N1, her first field goal of the game. And once again, Kennedy has a chance to tie it.
I think Percy's is going to try to, he's upping tempo now.
He's been trying to use an up-tempo style throughout the game, and this Benilde zone has forced him to slow down a few times.
Well, I think he's going to rev it up. I think he's going to show a different wrinkle here. He has. He's starting to show a different wrinkle. He's kind of let Benilde-St. Margaret's get a little comfortable. Now he's going to take them out of their comfort zone.
It's 39-38 after Odor misses the free throw, so Benilde's still up by 1.
And, you know, sometimes it's not the coach trying to rev them up. It's the kids, if they really want to do it, work hard or not, you know, and force them to work, you know, to work hard on defense. No box out there.
And Coughlin gets the 3 thanks to a lucky bounce. And she'll take that any day. Wade didn't have great position, couldn't put down the layup. And Benilde-St. Margaret's, with their largest lead of the game at 4, brings the ball up. It's Coughlin again.
If they hit this time, you look for Percy Wade to call a timeout. You don't want to get this game too far away from there. There's a turnover.
Still going. And now a jump ball is called. The possession arrow favors Kennedy. Here's another element to consider. Both teams are now out of fouls to give, so we'll be shooting free throws for the remainder of this game. You know those can always prove big.
Absolutely.
Martin attacking the zone, and it pays off this time. Two-point game. Antilla loses the ball, and it goes to Kennedy. Kaminsky a little too low. Antilla didn't see it coming.
Kennedy's effort is getting to be a little stronger now in their defense, and he's calling a timeout to settle them down. I think he needs to do that, because if he doesn't, Kennedy will run this thing right out.
At a key point in this game too, 4:51 left in the second. And a big chance here, so definitely a critical moment to reset those strategies. If you're Kennedy, you're still down by 2. Do you continue attacking the zone? Do you go out, try to make them draw out a bit, or what do you?
Well, it's interesting you asked that. You know, basketball is a strange old dog. I'll tell you that right now, especially now with the halves. Usually at these halves, you start seeing some strange stuff at the 4-minute mark. You have kids getting a little bit more fatigued. You have some, and then they're starting to make some bad mistakes. I think that's why Benilde-St. Margaret's called the timeout and kind of get them settled. Look for Percy Wade to go ahead and try and do. He's basically car racing. He's drafting, staying with them, and I think he's going to try and blow right by him. And it's seeing who's in better shape now, who's in better condition to go ahead and finish this game, because it's going to be a mad run here.
And there are no media timeouts, which can add to the strangeness. There are when you get to the state tournament, but here you play and you keep on playing.
Absolutely. You know, as I used to say, many are called, few are chosen. This game is a tough game to play. A lot of running.
This has the flavor of the 08 4A final a couple years ago when South and Central duked it out in a defensive fight. We'll find out in 4 minutes and 37 seconds which defense prevails here.
You see Benilde-St. Margaret's is starting to intensify their defense. They're getting more active.
And holy cow, Kanisha Bell misses the first shot, finds a way to get that ball back and gets a behind-the-back layup. A little Julius Irving flavor to it. And
Absolutely.
We're tied at 42.
Now you see them being more attentive on their defense, but there's still that post is still wide open. We're not fronting that post.
Antilla gets the bank.
See
with
what I'm
Mark
saying?
in her face.
If the ball came straight to her, all you have to do is just make a move. Boom. Coach Wade's going to have to straighten that one out. It's early in the season, though.
Kennedy looking for their first win. Wade looking for Odor, but she was off target, and a big chance for Benilde to take a 2-possession lead again. You know they would be looking to do that. Anything to get them a cushion. Wade on the right side. They'll go to Antilla. Foul called late. It's against Bell. It's a ruled a shooting foul, so Antilla will get 2 free throws here.
We need to move our feet. We don't need to be fouling right now, I don't think. Either team. All you're going to do is help the other team win.
Coincidentally, if Benilde hangs on to win this game, in terms of games that I've covered in my 5 years, well, this is now my 5th season following girls basketball, Kennedy will be 0-3 when I show up to call their game. If I'm not careful, Percy might issue a gag order or something.
I see 3 yellow sweaters down there.
No Michael Payton at the game.
Reiners for 3. That was a big one. Kennedy needed that.
There.
Reiners doubles her point total.
It's all about execution now. Defense by Bloomington Kennedy and offense by Benilde-St. Margaret's.
Schumpert with the miss. Wade with the rebound. Kennedy with a shot to take the lead again. They started out with an 8-2 run to open things up, and since then, neither team has led by more than 5.
No.
But Odor couldn't put it down.
Both teams are letting the post wide open.
And Odor fouls Antilla, so more free throws coming.
Oh, I know.
Free throws big now with 2:26 left.
Yep.
And Antilla misses both.
That's the kind of stuff that gives you the gray hairs. I'll tell you that right now.
And Bob might have had another gray hair or two if Odor didn't get her hand on the ball.
No block out by Kennedy. That'll do it. See, these are things you'll be working on when you get back to practice, and you know, having these early games like this, you know, that's great.
Schumpert with the back door.
That was a straight post entry, and that's not good.
Post players contributing 22 of Benilde-St. Margaret's 48 points. And once again, the pressure's on Kennedy. Still a one-possession game. A 3 will tie it.
Plenty of time.
1:52. Kennedy trying to find an open look, but against that zone, they're having a tough time. Reiners with an open 3, in and out. But Odor with the rebound. Wade now. No. I'm not sure if you want to keep shooting up 3s in that situation. Benilde with the timeout.
Yeah, you have plenty of time. You need to work it in to get some 2s and get back and play defense.
There's no shot clock, so yes, Benilde could theoretically run the clock out. But if you go for 2, make it a 1-point game, you just put a little more pressure on your opponent to stay disciplined.
Well, absolutely. Just getting some points on the board is what you need to do right now with Bloomington Kennedy. Just getting some boards in any way you can. Drive to the basket, you know, free throw line, or just get a 2, you know. Any way you can go, anything you can do to manufacture some points.
I have to correct myself on that Kennedy stat. I recalled that last year when we covered Kennedy, they did beat Minnehaha in convincing fashion. So shortchange Percy Wade a little bit.
Didn't I see something? One of the Minnehaha players is going to Division I also. Signed with a Division I. You were talking about Division I players going to Minnesota.
I'll have to take a look at that. Schumpert running through, not wasting any time, but she misses.
Good defensive pressure.
Polarski with a big rebound, and now Benilde-St. Margaret's will kill clock.
They need to get up and apply more pressure on their man. Force the referees to start hanging their hands out.
Antilla can't get the layup, and Wade is open. Here she comes. And she makes it a 1-point game, like you said. Get those points on the board.
Any means necessary.
Don't rush the 3, because now 57.4 seconds left. Even though Benilde is in the bonus, they cannot extend the game beyond a 3-point lead. So it's still a 1-possession game, and now that puts a little more pressure on the Red Knights.
So let me ask you this, Michael. You think he puts a full court in-your-face press? Or does he drop back and get in his half court and make it a tough half court defense?
Well, Benilde is trying to make this game half court. That was their answer or their strategy to handling Kennedy's tempo.
So you would say that they're going to put a press on?
I would look for a press from Kennedy.
I think so too.
Try to get that steal, because again, there's no shot clock. So Benilde can run out the clock. If Kennedy hangs back, that plays right into Benilde's hands.
Absolutely.
I'm sure you've been in this situation a few times yourself.
Once or twice.
Gives you another gray hair when you get back to the bathroom mirror, I bet.
Yes.
But this is why we come here. We don't play games on paper.
Absolutely.
And this game billed exactly as it was marketed by Breakdown Sports USA this week when they released their pregame warm-ups and notes. And we're still not done.
No.
We've got 2 more marquee gains on the girls' side. And so here comes that press. It works. Martin with the steal. Going to Bell. And Bell gives Kennedy the lead.
You can always depend on a Bell.
For once, I'm right. And a foul.
Mike, have you thought about coaching?
Bell fouls Dylan.
That was ill-advised there. You don't need to go ahead and bail him out with a foul.
It's a shooting foul, so it will be 2 free throws.
Yeah.
And I'd say it's a wise move by Percy Wade to call the timeout, get Kennedy back together.
Absolutely, get their composure. You have to anticipate that Benilde-St. Margaret's is going to make these 2 free throws. And here's my question to you again. Does Benilde-St. Margaret then, in turn, after she makes these 2 free throws, apply pressure, or do they get back in their zone and wait for Bloomington Kennedy to come down and just do a score?
I've been here a long time.
Tough call to make because, again, that's assuming she makes her free throws, and we've seen how many on both ends go out. Free throws not an automatic thing in any level of basketball. In high school, it always fluctuates.
Although Benilde-St. Margaret's has been shooting them well today. I'm anticipating they're going to make it.
You're right. They've been putting them in lately, although Antilla missed a couple earlier.
Although on the other side now, this is another thing that Coach Wade has probably told has been Bloomington Kennedy, look for the miss, and let's get some blocking out. Let's get a seal in there. There you go. There you go.
Now that changes things.
Absolutely. Let's get a seal. Don't let them get the ball and put it back.
My guess is the only folks hoping we don't go into overtime are the building managers. Otherwise, it'd be a long night.
There's a make.
Dylan makes it. We're tied at 49.
My guess he might just get up to half court and call another timeout.
I don't know how many he has left.
Okay.
They don't have that on the scoreboard.
Clock's going down. We got 36, 34.
Kennedy may be holding for the final shot.
Could be.
Figuring if we can't get it, at least we won't give Benilde a chance to win it in regulation. Make them win it in overtime.
Or he might call a timeout and tell him, well, no, he doesn't look like he's going to call a timeout. He's going to go right at it.
Oh, boy. We had a buzzer beater in our first game today. Will we have another? 10 seconds.
Someone needs to shoot the ball.
Wait to Reiners. Gotta hurry. 3 seconds. Bell with the runner. Short. Rebound. And goes in. Another buzzer beater. Bloomington Kennedy overcomes a last-minute deficit and picks up their first win of the season. This keeps up, my voice is going to go. You might have to call the next couple games yourself. Wow!
It's just a Bell making a shot.
Are you sure you two aren't related?
Absolutely. What a nice pass.
What a great play, too, and give credit to Bell for hanging in there. She missed that first shot, followed her shot, and you know what happens when you keep that effort going and follow your shot, you get rewarded.
Absolutely.
Wow. What a great ending to this game. We have a couple more left. GrandStadium.tv. You definitely want to get a copy of this if you don't already. Just click the purchase DVD link at the top of the page. For Broderick Bell and everyone here at Community Hoops and TSB Television, I'm Mike Peden. So long, everybody.